Consider this. Right now, you are in charge. To change the course of your life, biggest obstacles into your most significant successes. However, how would you ask? Today, we delve deep within the Stoic heart, an old school of thought that has given people more authority to persevere through hardship and locate tranquility. In the middle of turmoil's centuries, remember the last time you encountered a circumstance that put your patience to the test, or undermined your self-confidence. How did you react? Were you incarcerated to your instant responses, or did you select a reply? It demonstrated your underlying principles and beliefs. Here is where Stoicism is evident, directing our response to the difficulties of life with bravery, knowledge, and parity. We're going to dive into a profound idea that has its origins in traditional wisdom, yet is still remarkably relevant. In the contemporary world, the skill of training your thoughts to react, not respond. This idea isn't limited to keeping your temper in check or remaining composed in difficult circumstances. It's about growing, a profound sense of consciousness, a focus on the here and now that enables you to handle the highs and lows of life with intention and grace. The ancient philosophers of Stoicism, renowned for their pragmatic outlook on life. The Stoic viewpoint on recognizing react versus respond had a great deal to discuss this. They thought that even though we might not have authority over the things that transpired for us, we do possess authority over how we understand and react to these occurrences. Stoicism instructs us to concentrate on what we can control, promoting a separation from outside sources as well as an anchoring for our own reasons, options. This Stoic knowledge is what things may cause us to stop, consider and decide on a plan of action. That makes sense. And intentional as opposed to reactive and impetuous. However, why is this significant? Well, consider our level of stress. Remorse and annoyance originates from spontaneous reactions to statements made by others or take action. Now consider what if, instead, you may maintain your composure focused and considerate even when the environment around you is anything but. This goes beyond simply increasing your mental calmness. The goal is to become more efficient, sympathetic and strong individual attributes that have the power to change not just your life, but also the lives of people in your vicinity. In our discussion today, we'll look at a number of tactics that take inspiration from both contemporary psychology with the philosophy of Stoicism to aid in your development. This adaptable mentality will examine how to develop mindfulness, the significance of recognizing why it's important to respond rather than react in the modern world, and communicating your feelings in a healthy way, and how to maintain keeping the wider picture in mind, a viewpoint that the Stoics were particularly good at. By the time this conversation is over, you'll have an arsenal of tactics at your disposal to assist you in pausing, evaluate and intelligently reply to whatever challenges life presents. So let's set out on this adventure together, gaining self-anchoring skills in the Stoic wisdom of, and our own mental strength to select our answers, altering our encounters and exchanges for the best. In our quest to comprehend the key to reacting. When we overreact, we enter a domain where each and every idea and intentional action resonating with the profound lessons in Stoicism, the Stoics. Those wise old men of classical Greece and Rome had a perspective on life that is extremely suitable for our fast-paced contemporary world. They imparted the importance of controlling one's feelings and responses that highlight the real power resides in our capacity to select our answer to any particular circumstance. So, why is it so important to foster a reaction instead of a spontaneous response? Consider yourself in a heated meeting, or dealing with a personal obstacle. Human conduct by default is frequently to respond automatically, motivated by the sudden spike of feelings. Despite being natural, this reaction rarely serves our best interests. Techniques for teaching the mind to react. Eventually, it has the potential to intensify disputes, damaged connections, and result in choices we may come to regret. This is where the Stoic wisdom is evident. The Stoics held that in living in harmony with nature and logic, supporting a life where each action is directed by virtue and logical reasoning. By adopting this idea, we acquire the ability to notice our first impulses, think about them logically, and decide on a plan of action that is consistent with our basic beliefs and long-term objectives. Reacting instead of answering denotes pausing for a time. When confronted with a trigger, it involves taking a step back to watch, not just the outside incident, as well as your internal reaction to it. This moment of reflection permits you to take into account different results and select a rational one, balanced and, above all, within your authority. When using this Stoic method, you're not repressing your feelings or acting as though they don't exist. Rather, you're recognizing them, knowing where they came from and determining whether and how they ought to affect what you do. This method gives you more power to engage with the outside world in a manner that preserves your inner tranquility and honesty. Regardless of the outside circumstances, yet the significance of reacting. Excessive reaction lengthens beyond one's own tranquility. It affects the caliber of your connections, how well you lead, and your fortitude. Despite the challenges, when you give a considered response, you show respect, comprehension, and compassion regarding the opinions of others and encounters, cultivating more significant and productive exchanges. Setting out on a journey of transformation to develop mental faculties demands more than just intention. It requires intentional and persistent work similar to the procedures is married to a Stoic. These ancient thinkers provide enduring insights that can serve as the foundation for our contemporary strategy to develop a receptive, the pause and the strength of self-awareness instead of a reactive mindset. Initially, let's explore the power of self-awareness, a fundamental aspect of Stoic thought. The Stoics place a strong emphasis on the significance of self-reflection and comprehension, one's own ideas and reasons. In our situation, this implies developing a keen awareness of our minds and feelings. When your ideas are conscious and emotions, you're more prepared to properly handle them. This increased self-awareness permits you to identify the beginning of effective responses and offers the essential initial stage of selecting an alternative. Next, a more thoughtful reaction. We investigate the act of halting, a straightforward but effective tactic. Emperor Marcus Aurelius was Stoic, frequently mentioned the area between the stimulus and the reaction, the area in which we possess power to decide what to do by developing the practice of stopping even for a brief moment. We offer ourselves the chance to take a step back from our impulsive feelings. This gap can be filled. Taking a deep breath, a moment of contemplation or a quick meditation. It's located here, that our inner Stoic can be consulted, asking ourselves what virtue demands at this time and the answer that corresponds with our best selves. And further crucial tactic is changing the way we think about a method employed by Stoics to keep things equal. Despite the challenges, this entails intentionally deciding to look at a situation from an alternative perspective, one that lessens the emotional impact and shows several approaches to interact with it. For example, changing our views and concentrating on what we can manage rather than observing a difficult work environment as a danger. You could rephrase it as a chance to develop and exhibit fortitude. By altering our story, we change how we feel and create new opportunities for action. Moreover, the Stoics were supporters of concentrating on our abilities, authority, and relinquishment of what we are unable to. When putting this idea into practice, we discover how to prudently allocate our energy, actively reacting to our own ideas and deeds while acknowledging the outside circumstances as they develop. This does not imply being uninterested or passive. Instead, it's about realizing where our real power is and choose to behave there with integrity and purpose. Lastly, regular reflection as a practice and adaptation is essential. To mental training, the Stoics got involved in the daily self-evaluation, evaluating their behavior and advancement in the pursuit of virtue. Likewise, we can call it a day by considering our answers, honoring our accomplishments. When making deliberate decisions and gaining knowledge from the times, we reverted to our reactive state. This continuous procedure of self-evaluation and development cultivates an attitude of responsiveness and develops the insight while counterbalancing that Stoicism extremely high values. By combining these tactics into our everyday existence, not only do we respect what the Stoics left behind, but also give ourselves more power. To lead a more meaningful life composed and efficient by consistent practice, we change our thoughts, directing people toward answers that are a reflection of our core principles and goals. The essence of mindfulness is about growing profound awareness of the here and now moment. It involves paying attention to our ideas, feelings and experiences without passing judgment, enabling us to learn into their character and impact through mindfulness exercises. We support the Stoic effort to live intentionally and mindfully, firmly establishing ourselves in the present methods of mindfulness for a Stoic lifestyle. The sole instance, when we actually have the ability to take action. One useful method to develop awareness one must exercises for concentrated attention, like breathing exercises, only by looking at our breath. Observing every breath in and out, we acquire the capacity to keep focus and bring it back to our main focus. When it stray, this is not merely a relaxing exercise, it serves as a mental training ground, improving our capacity to focus and stay in the moment amidst the obstacles and diversions of life. And further crucial procedure is the practice of conscious observation. This is applicable to any everyday task, transforming it into a chance for awareness. If you're eating, strolling, or even carrying out routine duties, you can work on being totally involved with the task, taking note of every detail with openness and curiosity. This enhances the experience itself, in addition to, but also improves your capacity to maintain concentration and adaptable in a range of circumstances. Meditation with a body scan is yet another effective mindfulness method that encourages awareness of the body and existence by paying close attention to the breath and the sensations in the body. Looking over various sections of the body, we not only foster a stronger bond with our physical selves, but also become aware of and let go stored emotions and tensions. The Stoic reflection is echoed by this practice on the characteristics of physical sensations and the significance of preventing them from excessively affect our logical thinking. Using mindfulness, exploring how we engage with other people can change as well. Our interactions and correspondence by giving others your whole attention, paying close attention and seeing without passing judgment, we promote greater comprehension and relationship. This approach is in line with empathy's Stoic value and the understanding that others are also logical creatures, overcoming their own obstacles and encounters. Putting response above reaction in everyday situations by adopting these techniques for mindfulness. We follow the route that the Stoics took, one that results in increased clarity, calmness and efficiency in our activities. As we develop an attentive presence, we provide ourselves with the necessary equipment to address the inescapable obstacles of life with grace, discernment, and poise, representing the finest aspects of what a Stoic life entails: inspired existence. Let's shift our attention immediately in the direction of the practical implementation of our recently discovered awareness and Stoic wisdom, seeking to develop a way of life where thoughtful responses overrides impulsive reactions. This trip to putting a response over a reaction into practice is more than just repressing instinctive reactions. Instead, it's about enhancing our interaction with life, mirroring the virtue of Stoicism, of leading a life with intentional purpose and logicality to live up to the values we've talked about. The establishment of daily routines is essential. They support the skill of reacting. Consider yourself confronted with a difficult circumstance, maybe a conflict at work or an unanticipated obstacle. The instantaneous impulse possibly to respond emotionally, motivated by disappointment or annoyance. However, now is the time to use our Stoic motivated instruction to stop and think, the more comprehensive viewpoint, asking ourselves, how would a Stoic thinker act? This query isn't an appeal to repress feelings, it's an invitation instead to use our logical minds to impartially assess the circumstances and recognize helpful answers. Here, we're not doing away with feelings, but using them for constructive purposes, navigating through them with reason. It's about recognizing our emotions, being aware of their triggers, and then calmly and clearly selecting the most effective method of action that aligns with our principles and goals. Practically speaking, this might indicate taking a quick stroll to decompress prior to answering to a thought-provoking email. Useful advice for developing a responsive lifestyle. Perhaps it could entail a more thorough examination of what is genuinely distressing you in a dispute, attempting to identify the root causes instead of responding to irritate the surface. Every time you make a decision to react instead of react, you're strengthening a habit of careful interaction with the difficulties of life, building resilience and developing an even deeper feeling of tranquility and contentment. Moreover, including this strategy into your everyday activities increases the impact of Start Your Day. Includes an analysis of your goals, reminding yourself of your promise to reply carefully in a variety of situations. Keep a journal on a regular basis to consider your answers, celebrate your accomplishments, and pinpoint areas that require improvement, and crucially adopt a mentality of ongoing education and adjustment, realizing that every day provides new practice possibilities, and improve your response skills. Overreaction. By choosing this course of action, you're not only implementing a stress reduction technique, mitigation, or handling of conflicts, you're adopting a lifestyle which embodies the Stoic quest of wisdom and virtue. You're deciding to live with purpose, coordinating your activities with your best intentions, and in doing so, you're helping to create a more rational, sympathetic, and adaptable world. The process of going from a reaction to a response is transforming, calling us to a more thorough involvement. Conclusion: applying Stoic wisdom to the future with our inner selves and the outside world. The Stoics followed this route with diligence and commitment, and now that their knowledge is directing us, we also can strive to manage the challenges of changing with grace, rationality, and equanimity, exhibiting the genuine essence of Stoicism. In the present day, the core of our investigation is more than merely controlling our responses separately, but regarding the incorporation of a responsive, careful approach into our lives' fabric by adhering to the of Stoicism, concentrating on the things we can control, behaving sensibly and pursuing virtue. We give ourselves more power. to overcome obstacles in life with increased equality and intent. This path, inspired by Stoicism, inspires us to cherish each moment as a chance to demonstrate our dedication to responding overreaction, whether we encounter everyday annoyances, major failures, or crucial choices. Every circumstance offers an opportunity to exhibit the values of Stoicism, of courage and wisdom, temperance and justice. By continuously selecting to react intelligently, we improve our personal health in addition to, but moreover, contribute in a constructive way to the lives of people in our vicinity. Recall the path to mastery. Reaction rather than reaction is a continuous procedure of ongoing education and development. Similar to the Stoics, we have to accept the discipline of introspection, routinely evaluating our development and modifying our courses as necessary. This dedication to self-improvement not only makes us closer to our ideal selves, but also radiates, impacting our connections, communities, and the larger picture of our interdependent lives. As this trip comes to a close, together, keep in mind, every minute is a decision, an opportunity to embody the tranquil, the ability to bounce back, and Stoicism's wisdom in the fabric of existence. Your answers are threads of your personality, intention and purpose are interwoven. As we part ways, I encourage you to carry on exploring. Check the screen for recommended videos that explore the art of wise living in greater detail and, well, we appreciate you being here. At the Stoic Journal for following the path of a thoughtful reaction, excessively reactive inclination. I hope your future journey is filled with, be enhanced by clarity, virtue and tranquility.